Thank you so much for joining this morning. I just wanted to welcome all the mentors and the kids this morning. This is an amazing morning because, this is our fourth session.
Yes.
But before we get started, I just wanted to welcome a special guest today. We have with us the First Lady of South Carolina, Miss Peggy McMaster. She's a great friend of this program, and I'm so happy that she's with us this morning to speak to all of you kids, as well as to all the mentors. Without further ado, let me welcome Miss Peggy McMaster.
I am so delighted to see you this morning. We'll almost see you.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting me to join this call. Cyril is a dear friend, and if you don't already know how lucky you are to have him in your life in time, you will know how much he loves you. COVID has made things so difficult for all of us and has restricted some of my duties as First Lady. But we've had Jesus guiding and energizing me all the way. Even though our lives feel as if they've been turned upside down, don't let it frustrate you. Keep trusting in God. Focus on your future. You have so many people praying for you. I'm thrilled that each of you is looking ahead to the many future opportunities with the Kids2college program. What a wonderful program that is. Each of you is special and have something to offer the world, no matter where you come from, what you look like, or what your circumstances are. You have the power and the smarts to do anything you want with Jesus in your life. Remember this saying. This is an old saying, and it really makes sense. God never sends you into a situation alone. He goes before you. He stands beside you. He walks behind you. Whatever situation you have right now, be confident. God is with you. We need people of strong character, like you, in every aspect of every day. So continue to seek the good in people and the love and the unity that exists in the world. Stay focused and vigilant. Go after it, obtain it, and share it. I grew up going to church. My mother made us all go to church. We didn't like it all the time, but I'm so glad we continued that. And we do it today, and I've done that with my children. If you don't already have a church home, I suggest you look for one and look around and get the one that best suits you. Sometimes a church family can do for you what your own family may not have, and it can give you the courage to be faithful and caring as you grow. It's a wonderful place to find other open hearts. So there's a verse I'll close with in Jeremiah. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. So thank you for letting me join you today. I'm so proud of how far you've all come, and I'm excited to hear about all the wonderful things you continue to accomplish. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Peggy. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We're so excited that, I remember how, warmly you welcomed our children into your home last year, during the Christmas time. I'm hoping that once this pandemic is over, we'll get these 20 kids that are in the first batch. We'll have a coffee in your mansion, Miss Peggy.
We are saving a space for you. I can't wait. That was a wonderful event you had before, and I want to see one that's even more wonderful this time.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Miss Peggy, for joining us. You're welcome to stay with us and watch how this is flowing. But the next guest with us today to speak with us is Dr. Liz. Dr. Liz is back here. She was on the trail. She was out there, when the elections were going on. She was on the trail hopping, So now for the first time, I'm just having her back with us in the studio. Dr. Liz, tell us a little bit what's going to happen today.
Well, it is great to be back and to be with all of you here, and it's just so much fun to always work with spirit. We have talked about happiness and success and how having healthy relationships in our life is such a key factor to happiness and therefore success. And so on this journey, we're learning about ourselves and we're learning about others so that we can learn what we need, what we want in healthy relationships. We can figure out how to interact with one another in a healthy way. So today we're going to talk about intimacy. And typically when you say that word intimacy, people just think about physical intimacy, whether it's a hug, a handshake, whether it's more in a romantic relationship, but they don't realize that there's actually 6 different types of intimacy. And so we're going to learn about these 6 different types of intimacy and think of examples and how we can grow in healthy ways these other types of intimacy in our life. And so if you have a piece of paper, if you don't, go grab some paper real quick, because we are going to talk about these different types of intimacy. So you'll need to have these written down so that you can remember them and discuss them. And then we will go. So I'll give you just a couple seconds to make sure you have some paper and a writing utensil. I have some paper here. I like color. Color's fun when I'm learning. I like to color code things and highlight. It just helps me to remember it better. So I have some fun colored paper with me today. All right, so we have 6 different types of intimacy. The first one is the one that everybody knows right away, and that's physical intimacy. The way you engage with someone in touch, for example, like hugging or kissing or snuggling, maybe giving a back rub or a foot rub. I love a good foot rub. Holding hands or sexual conduct. And so these are these parts of physical intimacy. The second type of intimacy is intellectual intimacy. This is when we are connecting with how another person thinks and what they're interested in learning. For example, maybe taking a class together, maybe teaching a class together, reading similar books, like being in book clubs or just discussing things. I like to read science fiction. I like to read romantic novels or whatever it might be. Reading similar types of books might be how you connect on an intellectual level. Exploring current events, whether it's political, whether it's things about the environment, things happening all over the world. Or perhaps it's challenging one another to learn something new. And that's always a good way to connect on an intellectual level, to learn something new and teach one another and share it with one another or learn it together. The third type of intimacy is emotional intimacy. And this is when you know one another's emotional wiring and provide the freedom to express emotions both positively or negatively. Last night, I was talking with my husband about how much I love that I just can be myself around him. If I am frustrated about something, I can talk about things, and it's such a safe place because we have emotional intimacy, and I can just be myself and be comfortable whether I'm having a good day or a bad day. And so examples of this include understanding what makes your partner or your friend laugh or cry, permission to express doubt or fear, and general understanding of one another's personalities and tendencies, what they tend to do, how they're wired. Now, the fourth type of intimacy is social intimacy, how you connect with people around you. Are you an introvert or an extrovert? Things that you or your partner engage in for fun. What do you go out and maybe you game online, but you're interacting with lots of different people. Maybe you meet with people to play sports, or you go out and hike and different things like that. So you're out doing social things. You share hobbies, or you seek similar qualities in friendships and others. How you view or define or value your family. All these things are included in social intimacy. The fifth one is spiritual intimacy. The way you view the world and express the spiritual nature of your hearts. For example, it could include attending religious services together, meditating or praying together, sharing similar worldviews and thoughts about the higher power. When you are connecting with someone, one, just as friends, but when you decide to have a deeper relationship with someone, it is really helpful if you're on the same page spiritually. Whatever that might be, when you are, people use the phrase equally yoked. When you're on the same page spiritually, that really helps. But when you get into a committed relationship with someone who is completely not spiritual at all, against it completely, but you might be really spiritual and that is the most important thing in your life, that's going to make it really difficult and really challenging to have a healthy relationship. So it's important that you're on the same page with your spiritual intimacy. And the sixth one is financial intimacy. So many couples, the biggest thing they fight over is the finances. So how you approach, how you view finances, how you save, how you spend, how you give money to help others, all of these things you need to grow together in. And examples of this might include agreeing on a budget, on the parameters of your budget, discussing life goals of how the income you want to make, how you want to save, how you want to spend, and how you view debt. Those are all really important things that when you're growing in a relationship, especially like a significant other, that this is part of the intimacy that you share in growing together, that you're on the same page with your finances. So now, here is what I'd like you to do. Take your piece of paper, and maybe you need to rip it up into 6 pieces. Maybe you have a few pieces of paper. And on each piece of paper, I would like you to write, you can just write P for physical, or if you want to go ahead and write physical, write I for intellectual, or just write the word, E for emotional, S for social, another S for spiritual. Maybe write some little praying hands so you remember which one that is for, and F for financial. So what I'd like you to do is come up with an example of what you could do to grow in intimacy in this area with your partner. And now, if you ever watched Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory, there's this one kid that comes to the Chocolate Factory and he just watches tons and tons of TV, and he's dressed up like a cowboy. And Willy Wonka says, well, we have Wonka vision. And so we're going to use our imaginations today and have some Wonka vision, so that when you write down your example of physical intimacy, how you can grow in physical intimacy, you're going to write it down on your piece of paper. You're going to crumple it up, and then you're going to throw it through your screen. Over here, I have some cups right here. Physical intimacy, intellectual, emotional, social, spiritual, and financial. And so once you write down your example, you're going to go ahead and throw it. Let's see. Wow! So you're going to throw it into these cups, and it's going to come through the screen and get into these cups. So we're going to do this pretty quick, and things we'll miss. We'll So, ready? Go ahead and start writing down some examples of physical intimacy, intellectual intimacy, emotional, social, spiritual, and financial. You could just write down a couple, crumble it up on that piece of paper, and go ahead and throw it in. We'll give you a couple minutes to do this. And on your marks, get set, get going. Woo! You guys are doing great. Keep them coming. Keep these ideas coming. You know, it's a long shot coming from your house all the way through our screen, so put some force behind that. You're not supposed to hit the teacher. All right, doing great. A few more in here. Got to make sure we have them. Perfect. Now, when it's time to go to your breakout room, if you're still writing, go ahead, write those ideas down. When it's time to go to your breakout group with your mentor, this is what I want you to talk about today. share your ideas of how you can grow in these different types of intimacy. So mentors, make sure you have these written down: physical, intellectual, emotional, social, spiritual, and financial, so that you can discuss healthy ways of growing in these different areas of life. You guys did great. Thanks a lot.
Wonderful. I cannot believe how many papers just like it came through from different angles. But I just wanted to say thank you to Dr. Liz for being with us. How can, in a normal situation, right? They're here, they're talking to their mentors. Is there any way these kids, if they run into an issue with some of these things, how can they reach us to talk to us about this, Dr. Liz?
Well, you can always email us, and our email address, Proverbs226.
It's Kids2college. Kids with a plural. Kids and the number 2 and the college. Kids2college. That's the name of the program at Proverbs226.org. If you send us an email, if you need help in any of these 6 areas, we'll be happy to bring for you one of these mentors to help us as well, So with that said, thank you so much, Dr. Liz. We're just going to go into the next phase. I hope the kids and the mentors are doing well this morning. Thank you so much for writing down all of those things. Use them when you get a chance to break out. The next speaker that we have with us is Kelly VENABLE. She's an amazing good friend of ours. From here, we've done this is our 4th session, right? We wanted to start to get a little bit more serious about this mentoring program. And so from here, we are also starting to build some of the characteristics that we wanted to expose from you. We wanted to help you find the good colleges. We wanted to help you in getting your SATs and ACTs correct. We wanted to help you to manage the money better. So we have the next series of classes that's coming together. So mentors, when you get a chance to speak to your mentee today, you have 2 things to deal with. Number 1, to go through these intimacies that Dr. Liz talked about. And then now we have Miss Kelly VENABLE. She's going to talk to us about what she's going to do. She's going to do a series of classes. Today's the beginning. Let's welcome Miss Kelly VENABLE.
Hello, everybody. Can everybody hear me okay? I'm so happy to be here. I met Cyril, about a month ago, and we got to talking about the needs of the program at Proverbs226, and I have been searching for a way that I can offer my expertise and gifts to someone who might not have access to some of the things that I do for people. So I've got some slides that Selva's going to put up about me and just a little bit about what I've done in the past and why I'm here today to talk to you guys and why I'm qualified to even help you with some of the things that you might need. So a little bit about me. I own my own company. It's called Your Hiring Coaches, and we do 3 things. We do career mentoring and counseling. We do recruiting, and we also do talent optimization with companies. We help them figure out, how to best organize their teams based on people's natural abilities and talents. So I have a 25-year career in staffing, recruiting, and in sales. I managed a large sales team for a wholesaler for about 11 years. So I've hired many people over the years. I've done hundreds of interviews, training, coaching, hiring, and I've read countless resumes and LinkedIn profiles. So I'm here to just share my knowledge with you and help you prepare for college in any way that I can. So the next slide, I'm just going to go into a little bit about me and my why. So I have 2 boys myself, both who I helped with their journey in getting into college and picking the college that they wanted to go to. We went on many college tours. One of them is a graduate from UNC Chapel Hill, and he's 25 years old now in the working world in New York City. My other son is a senior at University of South Carolina, and South Carolina has a special place in my heart. I actually was born in Columbia, South Carolina. I grew up going to Rosewood Baptist Church, and I now live in Charlotte, North Carolina. But, you know, obviously we go back to Columbia a good bit, and I've spent, you know, a better part of my life in South Carolina. I went to Appalachian State University myself. So if you want to move to the next slide, Selva, I want to give you some examples of how I can help you. One is helping you prepare your college resume. I don't know if you guys know that usually when you apply to a four-year university, they do want to see a version of a resume based on what you've done over your high school career. So I just want to get you thinking about that today. That's really the first thing that I'd like to help you guys with and help you get started with. I also want to offer my help, you know, with deciding which colleges might be right for you. I've got a tool that I use with some of the companies I work with called the Predictive Index. It's a talent optimization tool, and later down the road, we can give you a 10-minute quick assessment to uncover your natural talents and abilities. And that might help you learn a little more about yourself and what you might bring to the table as far as just your natural talents. What kind of roles would be a great career path for yourself? I'd be happy to help you with college essay prep. Back one more real quick, Selva. I was college essay prep, teacher recommendations. I don't know if you guys know that a lot of colleges require that you get some recommendations from your teachers. So all of those things I'm here to help you with. If you want to get started making a LinkedIn profile, I can help you with that too. So the next slide is an example of a college resume. And I know it's really small on the screen, but I'm going to share this college resume with you. You can use it as a template, and you can fill it in with some of the things that you're going to do over the next 4 years while you're in school. So with the next slide, I'd like to go over some things with you guys, some ideas on what you might want to put on your college resume. And I want to encourage you, because no matter what grade you're in, now's the time to really start building this. There's things that you can do at your school. There's probably a peer-to-peer tutor program. You could start learning some new skills now. In Excel, learning a foreign language. Think about some of the clubs at your school and clubs that you might want to join. Is there not a club that interests you at school? There are so many clubs, and you can look online and see if there's a club that you might want to start yourself at your school. And I want to encourage you guys to join clubs early, because colleges look for leadership. And if you go ahead and get in a club now when you're a freshman or a sophomore, you can look at being the secretary or the treasurer, maybe even the president of the club your junior or senior year. And that always looks really good on a college resume. Volunteering, that's a great way to get experience on your resume. Starting a blog of your own, like if you're a writer and you like to write about certain things, there's different free hosting sites where you can just write your ideas. And it's something that is very attractive just for colleges to see that you are doing things with yourself outside of school. Playing a sport, getting an internship, even just having a job is something great to put on your resume. Working on the school newspaper, yearbook. I would love if you guys, I don't know, Selva, if you want to pull up the whiteboard, I'd love to hear from you guys some ideas or even some things that you're currently involved in, because it's always helpful for your peers to hear, you know, what's someone else doing. And you guys probably have some really good ideas of things that you might want to do to start building your college resume. And next time we get together, I'd love for you to come up with 3 ideas on your own of what you personally can do to start building your resume. And I also want to encourage you to reach out to me. If I can help you brainstorm, you know, I do this all the time with people with career counseling. I go over with them their interests, what they're looking for, what they've done in the past, help them realize, you know, some really great ideas on things that they might can do. Sometimes it's hard to do that for yourself. So I'm here to brainstorm with you if you'd like and just help you decide some things that might be good to add to your resume. The next slide is my contact information. So if you guys want to take a screenshot of this, if you want to send me an email, follow me on Instagram, you can send me a direct message, you can connect with me on LinkedIn, anything you want to do to contact me. I'm more than happy to help you guys. So with that, you know, if you guys want to do a quick whiteboard session just on some ideas on how you think you might be able to start building your resume, I'd love to do that with you guys. Who's got some ideas? Different from what I had on the previous slide. Anybody got any ideas? Even Cyril, even Silva?
Maybe doing community service.
Community service, yes. Do you have an example of anything community service wise? Maybe something like Operation Christmas Child would be great. That's going on right now.
I know in Charlotte they're doing a lot of like community service. Like you can go and you can build boxes for people that aren't fortunate enough to have food during their corona, and they also have the military boxes, building boxes for the military. I did it, and I did it with my grandmother. So, and we're doing another one for December.
That is great, and that's an example of something that you can put on your resume for sure. So the resume format that I have fixed for you guys kind of breaks it out by category, and you can put in there which grades and what things that you did during those times. It's not a complicated document. I made it very easy for you. It doesn't have to be like a traditional scary resume with a bunch of jobs on there. So you'll see when I send you the format how easy it will be. But that's a great one. Really, really good. Who else has another idea?
Another thing you can do is like find something that interests you and like try to volunteer there. Like I volunteer at this garden. It's called Hatcher Gardens in Spartanburg. And like they love having volunteers there, or just find something that just interests you.
Exactly. That is perfect. Anything you do outside of school is going to show that you're a well-rounded person, that you are, you know, interested in other things. And schools look for that. They don't just look at your academics. They want to see that you can juggle multiple things at one time, you know, that you have a passion about something else, that you want to give back to your community, that you can hold down a job and go to school. They want to see that you can do multiple things. So who else has another example? That's a great one. Thank you, Brandon.
I don't know if you know what HOSA is, but in health science, in most schools they do this. It's like it's training for nursing and like health science before you actually go into college. And they compete all over the state, and it's a really big medical club almost, and it's really great on resumes, and it's a really informative, and it really gets you ahead of everybody else when it comes to what you know, and they teach you a lot, and it's all hands-on. So that team is, if you're interested in nursing or becoming a doctor, anything in the health industry, that's a really good way to go, is HOSA. It's free.
That is so perfect. That is just the best example. Really, that is so great. Do you mind putting that in the chat for everyone? The name of that, and if you have a website link, maybe, that would be wonderful. And you know, sometimes, thank you guys for sharing, because peer-to-peer sharing is so valuable. You know, this is something, and I can't see who everybody is on the screen. So tell me your name.
I'm Mia Lewis.
Mia Lewis,
I'm on the
okay. That is great, Mia. You know, your peers may not even know that exists. So sharing together is just so valuable. Thank you for that, Mia.
It's not that big of a corporation at the moment, but being involved in HOSA is the first step to getting scholarships and anything that will show that you know how to do something when it comes to nursing, and they'll teach you first aid and all the first steps, so that when you get to college and you're learning about it, you're already a step ahead.
That is so good. And you're right. I mean, if they certify you on first aid, that's something you most definitely can put on your resume. And it just sets you apart from everyone else who may just be applying to college and they're really only concerned with their GPA, and that's all. So that's just wonderful. That's great, Mia. Anybody else have an idea? Well, that may be all the ideas that we have. But again, you guys, please reach out to me, because I would love to brainstorm with you on what you can do, where you go to school, what are the specific clubs that they have at your school. And, if they don't have a club that you're interested in, I can help you find something maybe you want to create, or, you want to bring a club to your school that isn't already there. That just all kinds of things. I'm more than happy to help you guys with that. And your resumes.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Kelly, for being with us this morning. I just wanted to, let all our kids know that this is one of the sessions we're going to do as we go forward.